Hello, anybody who's joining in. The Tinman here, in the middle of the night. What time is it? 2:30 a.m. I'm right here. Is that a magnet? There's a magnet in that. Anyways, I'm here at the stairs. I thought I would just give everybody a view of the damage that's going on with them. The inksing. See rubble's being left behind. You can see they pick at even the side a bit. I don't know how much they've damaged that because it was covered up and it's been uncovered. And then when you swing back over here, you just see a lot of damaged stairs. And that section, what I'm kind of pointing at right there, really is the one that's being the worst. I've talked about it a lot on my other videos about this part. Now there's a number of pieces right here, and you can see this is concrete. This is just a chunk of concrete, maybe a rock or two, a stone, one stone in it. Watch. Broke into two pieces. Didn't shatter into, tiny little fragments or anything. It's an over-exaggerated thing. So just I'm not even really so much trying to convince you guys that that's what's going on here. I'm trying to convince you just to watch your own things around your own properties. And see what yourself you come up with. I kind of got that camera on the other side, but I don't like that now because then I can't see the chat or anything. But I got some really good news. So I'm just going to sit over here. I got some awesome news. And what that awesome news is, just a second here. Is I got two sons and I got two daughters. Just check it. What's going on here? Okay. I'm try to get you up a little bit higher there. You never know if we get to see a shadow go by or something. Because in all reality, anywhere I am is pretty much that kind of an area anyway. So if my head's here, okay. So I'm also gonna just go like this. So yeah, awesome news. The awesome news for me. Awesome news is I really don't have anybody in my corner, or haven't until this point, I believe, that like nobody in my corner that I have felt a type of support where it was really important for a person with, maybe that kind of family connection or something like that to connect well on it. And it's my 17-year-old son. He's been along for the ride the whole time in life with me, having to, listen to his dad and stuff. And him compared to his older brother, they have two different techniques on how they're willing to listen to me and how they're willing to put up with me and so on and so forth. They got two different personalities. They got two different gene pools, and then plus within those gene pools, who knows what in the mix they're getting. So there are a couple of characters, and that's just my boys. The girls are a different story, although together when it comes to this the phenomenon of Bigfoot. Anyways, so my 17-year-old son, today we had an awesome talk because a number of things have transpired over this last little bit here where he and his year and a half older sister, his just older sister, and his mother and me, the four of us, watched a few of my videos, and it went over super well. And what he could get out of it himself, no matter what his mom feels about it now, a month or two later, and so on and so forth, he himself really acknowledged, realizing his mom was getting something big out of those videos. And he has a lot of faith in his mom. He's got a lot of faith in me, but sometimes it takes a little bit more of a kick, a little bit more of a buzz, a little bit more of an understanding, whatever. And the reality of it was, I had already showed him some of that video stuff about a year and a half earlier. And so now when he watched that again with his mom present there, and his sister, and seeing their reactions and seeing their questions or whatever they're doing, and so he really got his mind fulfilled again of the truth. And yeah, so that was a while back there, I guess about a month ago. And yeah, so we talked about it today, and we went out for a nice walked in a creek for a bit and stuff, to a hot area. And I told him a story. I'm going to tell you the story right now. Keep your ears peeled. Story happened right here. There's this guy around town here, and last night he came and parked in here to use the Wi-Fi and stuff. And he comes over to say hi. Me and him have only chatted kind of a couple of times. I think he was coming to say hi. He came walking up, and I was, I got to do that jump start thing on my car, so I had my hood open and stuff. He was probably coming to, check and see that everything was cool. And so we ended up talking, and I ended up telling, as we're standing there talking, I hadn't talked about what I do my research on. As we're standing there talking, all of a sudden he's got an alright look on his face. His face is kind of like this, and so he's looking up this way, and he's gone like that, and his face is really lit because he's on this side of the car and I'm on that side of the car, so that is really lighting up his face. And I'm looking at him, and he looks almost happy in a way. And I go, what do you hear Bigfoot? He doesn't respond. He just keeps looking up there, smiling around, and he's kind of, his eyes are going like this. So up in you got the 2 flights of stairs, and then you got tons of blackberry, and that's probably like maybe 80 feet of bank or something, and then it's hundreds of feet that way and 500 feet that way. So that's a lot of blackberry and so on and so forth. And then up above that is a great big park, and it's immediately flat above that approximately 80-foot park. Anyways, so he's looking up there, and I go, yeah, the Bigfoot park. Doesn't respond. And I go, what, do you hear something breaking? Like branches and stuff? Or, like that. He still doesn't respond. And so I said, do you hear kids? And that's when he responded. And so basically ended up telling me what he heard. And then as we're talking again, and I'm telling him some of my stuff, I explain the damage on the stairs and stuff like that. And I think I told him about the totem pole being damaged there, and a couple of different things, and you could tell it was just blowing his mind in a way. Sometimes you got to be, people aren't really looking for it. Like, I tried to stop a couple of times, but he kind of kept it going a bit, so he seemed to be cool. So I even told him, I said, these guys, now that that went down and you were paying them so much attention, they might try tripping you out a little bit, and it might really trip you out, because this is legit. This isn't like you think you hear a voice or you're whatever with that syndrome. I'm not really sure, but I know it's so heavily going on that a lot of people aren't really using it as they're faking their way through that. And with this voice, these guys trying to give you a hard time with sounds and stuff, there isn't any, there's no playing a game, there's no faking, it's real sound, it's really going on. And so I tried to just express that quickly to the guy. And then I'm driving out of the parking lot. It's just hilarious because my parked car was parked right here. So I started driving out of the parking lot just that way, and he was parked over in that corner there. I see him walking towards his truck, and he's looking up the bank there, and he's calling out something. I think he's probably calling out, yeah, whatever, leave me alone, something like that. I have no clue, but so hopefully somebody was around for the story. Hey guys, thanks for the thumbs up. I want to just kind of, so is my volume doing an all right job? A thumbs up must be saying I'm doing an all right job. Let me just try to figure out when I'm on camera. Okay, because I'm just going to be standing off camera a little bit right here. We got that beautiful sight there anyways of the old stairs are over 100 years old. That fresh white stuff you're looking at is fresh damage. Look at the rest of the stairs, how they are not damaged. Moss is being kind of, to some extent, peeled off of them. I'm going to change your direction a little bit and bring you to this side for a while. I'll go around to the other side and look at your view. I'll turn it back a little bit, but I don't know if you heard, but just as I was walking around to the front there, off to your left now, at your left, the pop of a dog, it kind of sounded like to me, but there is a berry plant going on over there. When I say a pop of a dog, I kind of mean like a bark, a yelp, something like that. So, life of the researcher on this level, guys. There's some pretty heavy duty people doing it, doing some hardcore living out there research. Guaranteed there are, and there's one that I know of, and that's that Robert guy. And that's tough, hard dedication. Anybody who believes in the Bigfoot creatures, family, beings, however you want to look at it, someone like Robert, as long as he means them no harm in reality, as to some, because he does pack around a gun, but they know that. And another thing about it, they know how to stay out of his range and stuff like that if they really want to stay that safe. So, he'll probably just be chasing the ghosts forever and just be getting those little pictures and stuff. And speaking of that, what I want to jump back to now, which reminded me about talking with the guy with the, who sparked here last evening. And he was here on at least 3 different occasions. I'm basing it 3 times because when he was walking back to his truck there, sure looked like he was yakking something out to them. But at least 2 times I knew he was just right into it. And on the second time when I was standing there looking at him, he was so happy listening to them. He said it just sounds like kids having fun. And this is like, I don't know, 10. It's kind of as quiet as it is now, but it was 10:30 at night. A little bit more traffic on the road probably. Anyways, the reason why I was bringing that up is right off to our left here, which I'm going to change the camera again, or I mean our right. You see all this hedge and stuff? Well, there was somebody, I was parked here. I think I might have been a few feet more away from the hedge. But there was somebody in there giving me a hard time. And the biggest related noise, it's hard for me to remember now, but it was kind of like, hmm, hmm. Every time, 2 times, hmm. Not like but it really was like a little bit of a humming sound. And to try to count the amount of times that it happened, I think I kind of thought then, and I thought a dozen or two in doubles every time. Almost every spot I go to now, it seems like there's a certain amount of noise connection going on. So that one's really got me wondering. I'm trying to figure that out. Don't have a lot of people to bounce stuff like that off of because, or I mean, to get some, reference of experience or something like that. On the level I'm kind of every day, because wherever I go, right now, even hanging out, they can, well, they have been around here tonight. I already guaranteed 100%. I do know it. And they are going to be up, right around right now, probably. And the reason why I say that is because, and easily and proudly can say that, is I have an influence of the numbers. And that's one thing that I think I might be in my own on that. So, if you came walking here and stood beside me and I point out my connections, because there's a fair amount of connections, like I'm talking about these stairs right there in front of us, and those are that's an actual track marker. That happens to be a damaging track for some reason, a breaking down track that they do. I even said to the guy, because there's a little bit of a plaque thing up there, statue thing up there. I talked about it before. And when he was standing here, I said that, I explained what the white, I said, the white up there. And he goes, yeah, I see it. And I know he's also looked at it too, because he was talking about this special stone that he has that he found one time. And so I pointed out, I said about that rock, and then I said, if you go up there, you can actually see this really fine crack line, and I believe that's a scribed line that they do. And then that white stuff, that white stuff that seems to be coming out of there, and almost like it is crystallizing. I think that might be calcium. I'm not too sure on all that, but yeah. And the part of the reason why I'm saying that is because, not just because they're there, because the first time I really connected was out on Vancouver Island in Victoria, almost like our rock capital. That's where we have a lot of rock use on buildings and stuff. And our government, parliament, whatever it is, parliament buildings and everything, the big whatever. On one of my videos, I even show where they're scratching at the buildings, and because of the rock and stuff, there's something about the materials of Earth. And then if we take a material of earth and we mix it, and what, like cement, for an example, it's mixed with materials of the earth, and there's a bit of a chemical compound, but other than that, it's sand all the way up to, you know, big rocks sometimes. Like these are big rocks in amongst concrete. And then even in time, I think you might be able to see that big rock right on there. You must be able to see it. This big rock right here. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, we'll see that one getting all scarred up and broken apart. I'm gonna take a look at it and see if I see any action on it. I was seeing it's looking a little shiny around in here and stuff. Yeah, just it really can go really fine. It can go in small amounts and stuff. Like I would say that we're on the stairs here. I myself physically can kind of remember with the visual part of it, probably about, I don't know, let's say about 6 stages of this stuff being broken down. But there might have been dozens more. Like they'll come by and they just like, they might not even touch this stuff. They might come by and do a whole bunch of other stuff and leave that alone for a number of times. And the other stuff that I'm talking about, if you actually look and see, if you can see the stairs well enough, you see all the spots where you just see it looks like maybe water was running down, so it's clear or something. That's all part of their path of clearness, and that's part of a crack line. And if I actually showed you what's going on there, you'll see a crack there, but they've made it 2 inches, 3 inches wide, and then when you really start looking how it's going up the kick and then across the tread part and stuff, you start to calculate in how you can bring all of the maybe existing cracks are being picked at now, and there are also new cracks that are just being created in the design of picking. And that comes down to the totem pole stuff and the hydro poles and the telephone poles and stuff like that. If you look at the cracks on them and stuff like that, they're and because those things are failing and they're falling apart and getting water issues and so on and so forth on a higher rate. And it's because these guys do the same thing where they kind of, I don't know how they're cracking wood like that kind of stuff, but I almost guesstimate that they are pulling life out of them somehow. And an interesting thing just happened tonight, actually. Just recalling. I was over, where I've been hanging out. I've done a number of videos on it recently where I'm hanging out around that bridge and I talk about the concrete there being broken down and chipped at and stuff, and it's just different wears on it. And then there's that one big piece where it's like two big slabs, or one big slab of concrete was broken right out of the, like a car abutment kind of big concrete thing. And it's just part of the railing system of the whole bridge. And it's structural and everything. Tonight, when I was out there hanging out in the dark, say probably about 11 p.m., I happened to look at the railing that is exactly above where that big piece is broken off. And the railing is hugely I'll use the word distorted. It's like the metal has reacted to rust easily. That whole railing system is galvanized. And in that spot, it's hit heavily, almost like maybe it was heat that changed an element of it, and now the galvanized is accepting rust. And it's just really weird because it's right where that concrete is being broken away there. So I'll do a video just in the day, just based on that thing. And whoever's, tuned in on this video, whoever's willing to listen and watch this video and stuff like this, I'm telling you, man, I have oodles of information already in my past um, documents on YouTube, and more to come. Like this kind of stuff, like this kind of proof is part of what I have to show you. In a number of my videos, if you're starting to get an eye for looking for somebody who's good at hiding and is trying to hide from you, and usually hiding very dark, not, like a dark red or anything like that. I mean black, dark, hiding in the dark, dark, pulling off different tricks. Like, listen to my notes and stuff. I talk about these finger glasses, and basically all that is the fingers can look like twigs. So if you look into the bush lots of times, you see these twigs all over the place when you're looking into these black pits. Well, look for a look that might be a goofy kind of glasses. And sometimes that's just, many times, it is fingers that are rolled up, or maybe even they're just two hands kind of on their sides, making like a big eyebrow and a lower eyebrow, let's just say, and they're looking through that. Like, you like, these are someone who's pulling the wool over our eyes forever, and I'm teaching you guys the reason why, or the reason how. I'm teaching us the reason why. In part, they're here. They're part of an ecosystem plan of it all, probably. I don't think they're really pulling these stairs apart to be jerks to us. I don't think they're kind of fed up and decided, these stairs are 100 years old now. Let's just start pulling them apart. I think it's because there's a birth, there's, there's no birth control. There's too many now, and in this area, they're not spreading out enough. Their work is combined. They don't have time just to go do it on the big mountains and break the rocks in this area and stuff. They have to hit the stairs here. They have to hit the totem pole right in front, and it's brand new. Within, I don't know, I think it's maybe only up there in a month, and they've already started splitting that thing. They're going to just really ruin that. And that's our art and stuff. And I don't think they really necessarily have an aim to aim at the art and stuff. And it might go against what a lot of natives think, because they are going to believe that's not a spiritual gesture. And it's not necessarily about the spiritual thing, And let's just say, before this population growth, where their boredom now has to make it that they'll break apart stairs and stuff. Let's just say that population thing before that, 50 years ago, did they ever pick at these stairs? 80 years ago, did they ever even once pick at them? And now all of a sudden they're going to be picking at them, probably, it might be every day. There's a couple of swipes of this and that when they walk by and stuff. Like, I confidently say it can be every day. It's and it won't be just that. It's some branches over here that they broke. It's some gathering of food. It's maybe taking some grass from a pad over here and putting it over here. It's pick up some rocks and put them, a couple of big boulders across the street here. It's a laborious, continuous job that they just constantly are doing when they're moving. And when they're not moving and stuff, the constant job for the mom is probably watching the kids, maintaining them. And the bigger males and stuff are probably all come into the lookout thing. And now, because the numbers of them are so huge, everybody is kind of accounted for. If they notice a police, they'll know the fire truck different from ambulance and different from a policeman. They'll understand their jobs being different. They got all that comprehension level, I believe, and that's part of how they keep it secretive. So now, if all of a sudden the army pulled into town, they would be on high alert because that would be really out of ordinary for us to do. So I don't even have to get into that anymore. I'm sure your mind can go, yeah, okay, I see where you're going with that. So in other words, if all of a sudden I'm here and I call up the police and I say, hey, I know that's over here. They're doing all this. And all of a sudden there's like 6 cop cars all around here and they're going through all these bushes and we're doing all this bring some dogs in and stuff like that. They're going to look at me as a different character. They're not going to look at me as still this character who's been doing it kind of this solo way most of the time, unless I have a guest and stuff like that. And been sticking my nose into a lot of the corners around this couple of 1,000-acre piece of land, and they're connected enough where they know I've been on that corner, I've been in this corner, and I've been in that, that clan, that area, that community. So late at night and stuff, I don't know if my eyes are working the greatest anymore right now. Let's see if you can get a picture from that at all. No. Alrighty. Tinman is signing off. Hope you guys dig it, appreciate it. I hope you listened. Just put it as, when I'm doing these kind, just do it as nighttime listening kind of news. Peace out.